we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and G.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen. What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Shruki's. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded
through the roof.
So there you go.
Good afternoon. It's Lancaster Connects. It's 2024. Can't believe it's 2024. We're already a full week in. My name is Ben, and we are inside of Gardner's Mattress and More, broadcasting live Lancaster Connects, the show about great people doing great things with great organizations right here in Lancaster County. Sometimes that's a business, small business like us, who gives back to the community. Other times it's nonprofits and related charitable organizations. And we have a great one on today. We'll introduce our guest in maybe a handful of minutes here. I just want to check one quick thing. All right, all good. I see some chat messages coming through in the back. I just wanted to make sure that, everything is good. Maybe some of you are watching live here on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn. Thank you very much for watching live. Of course, this show lives on forever on YouTube and other streaming platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn. If you happen to see on our pages or land on those pages and scroll through, you'll see that. So Gardner's Mattress and More and Lancaster Connects pages is where you can watch the show. Past episodes, I wanted to point out, you can watch at lancasterconnects.com/episodes. You'll see an episode link at the top of the page. You can just click on that. I wanted to highlight last week's show and guest. We had Troy Brukwalski. I think that's the pronunciation of his name, from Universal Athletic Club. And they are actually our sponsor for the first month of 2024 in January here. But last week's show was great. New Year is always, people start making resolutions, do this or that, whether it's, losing weight or eating better, or, usually they relate to maybe being healthier in some way, shape, or form. Of course, Universal Athletic Club is a place where you can absolutely do that. I am a Universal member. In fact, my trainer, Sean, is right there in the picture, kneeling down. Sean is fantastic. I take a class 3 days a week at 5 a.m. in the morning, and Sean has whipped me into shape over the last year and continues to do so in 2024. But fantastic fitness center. If you're not familiar with it, give them a look on their website, universalathletic.club.com, I believe that is. But last week's show was great. Go check that out with Troy. We talked a lot about the club itself, what they encompass. I mean, there's all kinds. You think of an athletic club, you might think of weight training and maybe taking a class like, bicycle class, cycling, whatever. And they have all kinds of fitness classes. I mean, and most of these classes are included in your membership, but there's something within the Universal Athletic Club called the Renewal Center. And we spent a lot of time last week talking about the Renewal Center. Podcast producer right on it, Chris. Oh my gosh, he's on it. The Renewal Center covers a lot of different therapies for, like it says, anti-aging and recovery for your body. Typically, these services you pay for in addition to your membership, but there are a lot of modalities and therapies within the Renewal Center that are designed, again, for anti-aging, for body recovery. A lot of people will go up to the Renewal Center after a workout or just before a workout. I've done a handful of in fact, there's one I've done before, the NovaThor therapy. Basically, it's like a 12-minute nap inside of a bed. It looks like a tanning bed. It's not a tanning bed at all. There are direct benefits to your health and well-being and sleep within the Renewal Center. There's a massage chair. there's other items there on the screen there. So we talked a lot about that in last week's show with Troy and Universal. And I definitely encourage you to go back and watch the show. If you're not aware of some of the things that you can do to help your body recover and just be more healthy, the Renewal Center at Universal can help. So like I said, we're excited to have them as our January sponsor. Prioritize you. That's kind of their message this month. Your well-being shouldn't be an afterthought. And whether you're brand new to fitness or an experienced exerciser, their goal is to make sure you're comfortable and confident. And they believe if you spend time in improving or maintaining your well-being, those times should be enjoyable. So definitely reach out to Universal Athletic Club. Their offer this month for being a sponsor, you can get 8 sessions of the Novathor or the Beamer therapy within the Renewal Center for just $99. So just go in, mention Lancaster Connects, go to the Renewal Center. Like I said, mention Lancaster Connects, and you can get 8 of those sessions for just $99. And you can also, Chris can bring up the contest page. You can also win some sessions to the Renewal Center. Very low entries at this point. We're just only a week into the contest, and really I think people are just waking up from the Christmas holiday, so that number will go through the roof soon. But at the moment you have a pretty good chance. That's the gift right there, the gift certificate. You get 6 free sessions if you're the winner for this contest. So just go to lancasterconnects.com/contest, like Chris has there on the screen. All we ask for is your name and email address. And once you enter, you'll have additional opportunities to enter by subscribing to Lancaster Connects, our podcast page, YouTube page, visiting us on Facebook and giving us a like, that sort of thing. So super, super easy. You can get 4 entries just like that. Give it, probably a minute and you've got your 4 entries. All right. So again, thank you to Universal Athletic Club for being January's sponsor. I think being athletic and health, well-being, all of that really translates well to our guest. Our guest is Kyle Martin, and Kyle Martin represents a great organization called Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Hello, Kyle. How are you?
Good, Ben. Hey, I gotta say that's a world-class transfer right there. That's great. Nicely done.
Well, thank you. I should mention, normally I have a partner sitting next to me. His name is Jeff. Everybody who watches the show knows Jeff. Jeff is actually battling a respiratory thing, a non-COVID respiratory thing. So he's taking it easy. He's around, but he's taking it easy. He's usually the transition master. He's like, he goes from one to the, I don't know what he's doing, and then boom, he hits that transfer, and it's all good. So
that was great.
I appreciate you giving me the love that time. So Kyle, thanks for being on the show. First I just want to ask, are you a Lancaster native?
Yes, yeah, I am. So I grew up in New Holland my whole life.
Yep.
There's not much more than that. I am a Lancaster native. I haven't lived further than 10 minutes from where I am right now my whole life.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So
pretty local.
Yeah. So before we start talking about FCA, what makes the Lancaster community special? We're always talking about Lancaster and the cool things going on in Lancaster, but to you, you've spent your whole life living in Lancaster. What makes Lancaster special to you?
Oh man. Apart from it being where I grew up, it's cool to see the different communities. I find it's pretty intertwined, the community here in Lancaster. You're going to see a lot of businesses work side by side. A lot of ministries in Lancaster work side by side. And I think that's something special you don't get wherever you go. So I'd put that one up there for me.
Well, that's a great thing that you brought up there, because about organizations working with each other, faith-based organizations, and just businesses in general, nonprofits. This is episode 126. So we've talked to many other organizations, business owners, nonprofits, charitable organizations. In fact, one just popped up on the chat. Steve Goebel from the Goebel Group says FCA for the win. That comment came in there. So you've got a fan in Steve there. But we see it over and over and over again, how intertwined a lot of these organizations are, the support they give each other. And, Lancaster, I mean, I'm sure this exists in other communities, but it just seems like there is something special. Maybe it's in the water here, Lancaster County, but everybody seems to have a heart of not only giving back, but helping each other to give back. So I'm excited to talk to you and see the ways that FCA is kind of intertwined with other organizations and gives back to the kids. So that's cool that you brought that up. So some of our watchers might be wondering, what is Fellowship of Christian Athletes?
And it's a good question because it's relatively new here in Lancaster. I'd say it's I want to say it started in 2016 here in Lancaster. So but as was in the description, it's been around since 1954. So it's been around for a long time, far beyond my years, for sure. But we're basically a faith-based organization that we use sports as our outlet to share the gospel, is really what it is, and to minister to coaches and athletes. We use sports as that outlet, and we believe it's a strategic position to be in the realm of sports. It is one of the more massive things where you can get a group of people. You get 70,000, 100,000 people to get together and watch one game that's happening in front of them. It doesn't happen all the time. So,
wow,
the realm of influence is it's there, and we believe it's strategic that we're in that position. So
obviously FCA is not a Lancaster specific thing. Lancaster has a chapter. Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, you can call it that. Yeah, that works. Okay. But it's definitely global. It is okay. It's in over 100 countries. I can't name them all, but we started a chapter here in Lancaster, like I said, 2015, 2016, something like that.
Okay.
Actually, I wasn't a part of it then. I only recently came on staff a couple of years ago, but yeah.
And who started it in Lancaster? Was there a person behind bringing it to Lancaster? And why was there a need in Lancaster for the services that FCA provides?
So I'm totally going to get this wrong. I don't know if I can tell you exactly who started it.
Oh, that's okay.
I want to say Justin Kleiner was the first name that comes to my head. But,
okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, he moved here from Virginia and he just wanted to get things started. And I mean, it's really taken off. We'll obviously dive into more of the conversation then about where we're at and where we're going, but it's definitely taken off in the last 8 years.
That's great. And what is your role within FCA?
Yeah, so I'm an area representative, and that could mean a variation of different things. But for me, it means I basically oversee a certain grouping of schools within Lancaster. So there are 8 staff in Lancaster County for FCA, full-time staff. And
oh, wow.
So yeah, I oversee Solanco, Lampeter, Strasburg, and Conestoga Valley. So I'm an area representative for those schools, specifically working with the coaches, working with the athletes in those school districts.
So that's interesting. And I think this will give us more of an understanding of how FCA works. So is it mostly all school based? Are you working within the school districts to bring athletes into the FCA world? And does it even go beyond schools? So
we've definitely been campus driven in the past, but I'd say in the last couple of years we're kind of taking a look into the future and saying, we're not certain what possibilities lie as far as being allowed in public schools. You just never know, and so we've really started to dive into the club sports realm, getting into the sports that aren't very popular. I mean, we're getting into equestrian stuff and surfing and skating and outdoors stuff. It's just, we're broadening our horizon of our impact. And a lot of that had to do with, we looked at our mission statement and it's to lead every coach and every athlete into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ and His church.
Right.
And we looked at that and said, are we really able to reach every coach and athlete if we're only on a campus? And in reality, you can't. I mean, and we can't reach every coach and every athlete by ourselves. We need volunteers to help do that. But yeah, we really looked at that and said, we need to expound more on our influence, our realm of influence.
So what does that look like when you go? Do you go into a school, or do you have events planned out that students can attend? What does that model look like?
Yeah, so I mean, it can kind of look different on different campuses,
Okay.
but basically, my role is to build a relationship with some of the coaches and some of the faculty staff in a school, and then from there we try to create different events, like you said, of how can we get kids into our realm of influence, and then from there disciple them. And one of the ways we do that is what we call a huddle. It's a sportsy term for a small group. So different schools, we usually do a morning huddle, and that usually consists of 20 to 60 students, depending who's coming. They'll come in from any sport, any point in the school, and they come in. We have a snack, whether it's donuts or whatever, and then they'll break out in small groups and play a game right before school, and that's usually once a week.
Okay.
That's just one of the ways that we kind of do that. You see the huddles list on the screen there.
Okay. Yeah.
There is definitely more huddles there. We're updating that currently, but yeah, what you can see there is we're in a lot of schools.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So is it you and some other members of your team and volunteers? I think you said that come into the school. You said it's before school, and obviously the kids get there. Probably parents drop them off, or
right.
If they're of driving age, they drive themselves there. But so maybe like an hour before school, something like that.
Yeah, 45 minutes, half an hour, something like that. But no, usually it's me. Like I go into the schools that I represent. So like I said, Solanco, Conestoga Valley, LS. But then the other staff people have schools they oversee, and they do the same thing at those schools as well. So there's a list of staff there, and what we'll do is we'll build relationships with some teachers who are also coaches, and they're kind of our in between with the faculty staff, if we need anything. And we're really about building relationships and discipling coaches and athletes, and then we want to be disciples who are making disciples ultimately. Right. So how can we do that? Well, it starts with one relationship, and part of that is reaching out to a coach and say, hey, you have a group of kids on your team that want to get together, and go through John or Mark or Luke or something, and then build something from there and just kind of see where it goes. It's kind of, FCA is unique in that it can kind of fit into, you don't have to fit into its program, so to speak.
Right.
It can kind of fit into what you want it to look like.
That's cool. So do you find kids that are involved bring their friends from the teams with them? Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, sometimes. It depends on the kid. You get kids who want to make their friends a part of everything that they're a part of.
Sure.
And sometimes they just want their own thing that they can go to. So we do see it, but like one day I walk into Conestoga Valley, and the week before I had said, hey, let's one of the guys is on the football team. I said, why don't you invite some of them out? And then the next week he walked in. I want to say he had 10 guys behind him, and they were all. It was Jersey Day. They all walk in wearing their jerseys. So that was pretty intimidating.
That's cool. Yeah, he had the whole defense with him.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So the morning huddle, that's one thing that you do. What are some other things, programs that you have in place for students?
Yeah, so it's kind of like I said, it is different for each school, and
Okay.
we're flexible to fit kind of what the students want, because ultimately it is a student driven ministry. We want
Okay.
it to be something where, they can run with it. They can share their ideas, create a plan. I mean, their realm of influence in high school is a lot greater than mine, right? So
Sure.
I'm going to walk into a small group, and everyone's going to look at me as a teacher or whatever. They're going to walk in, and they're going to be a friend, and they're going to be, I'm not saying I can't be that, but it's more of, it's different when it comes from a peer than it is from an
Right.
adult.
No question.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. That's cool. Do you have any after school programs or any programs that happen on the weekend or gatherings, anything like that?
Not necessarily, and that's kind of where we're getting into the club sports,
Okay.
and,
Right.
and what all that entails. And club sports is really just as big as campus
Oh
sports
yeah.
right now. I mean, and it's definitely more of an investment on the parent side, for sure,
Sure.
into a club sport. But yeah, that's
Yep.
kind of where we kind of hit not a roadblock, but we're kind of like, hey, we want to reach every coach and every athlete. So we
Right.
got to get into these after school things and into these things that happen during the summer. And yeah, so we're starting to dive into that
Yep.
and see what that looks like.
Well, that's cool. My daughter does club volleyball, so she
Okay.
played on the Manheim Township high school volleyball team this past fall.
Sweet.
And yeah, now I mean these sports. I mean, some kids do like 2 and 3 sports, and maybe there's not time for club sports. But if you're the type of kid that only does 1 or maybe 2 sports in the off season, you do the club sport. Just stay, fit and active and build your skills and all that. So that's what she's doing now.
Yeah.
Volleyball has become for us like it's super exciting. It's a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and I've found a really great team aspect. It's very team focused. So she's part of the PA Elite club program. So
Awesome.
I don't have any contacts for you with them, but
No, it's fun.
they're kind of just they're down the road on Route 30 near Walmart. That's their the volleyball corner is where they meet. But she's had a good experience with club volleyball.
Yeah, and something we run into is these kids, sports is their life. Like, and I'm not saying you're doing this to your kid, but some parents can kind of push that along, and these kids are like, if I don't perform well in the sport, I am nothing, and
Right. That's yeah.
they'll kind of dive into that mental state that just really isn't healthy. And that's just something we want to walk through with students. We want to walk them through, hey, don't root your identity in your sport, because you look at these professional athletes, and they get to the point in their career where they're not in sports anymore, and then if their identity is rooted in that, then
Right.
where are they going, right? and their life is over, so to speak, in their eyes, and we really want to get kids to a point where they're viewing sports as a platform for their faith, and as what's the word I'm looking for? We want to get them to the point where they view sports as an outlet to glorify God, and not just their everyday. I got to perform in this. I got to perform in this.
Right.
And if I don't, then I'm a failure. It's like, no,
Right.
Yeah, that's a dangerous path to go down.
So I'm glad you brought that up. What are some of the other topics or issues that kids deal with, or they might come to these huddles and meetings with? What are some other subjects that these athletes may want to discuss with their huddles?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. A lot of what we get is kids being overwhelmed, and
Sure.
and that can include a lot of different things going on in their life. School is stressful enough. You add 2-a-day practices on top of that, and
Mm-hmm.
then you add whatever home situations going on, because you never know. So I mean, they're looking for a place to have community that's centered around their faith, and that they know that these other students are joining them in that. They can strengthen each other. Iron sharpens iron, right? And
Sure.
yeah, we want these kids just come in with so much, and we're definitely in an age where it's starting to become, you're okay to talk about it now. It used to be pretty taboo to talk about your mental health, but
Yeah, right.
definitely something kids are starting to talk about more.
Well, and that's good. You do see it a little bit in professional sports, mental health being really prioritized and made important, and not just kind of shoved under the rug. So that's great that you're kind of tackling it at the school level as well.
Yeah.
When Chris was scrolling through the website, there were a lot of high schools listed. I saw middle school. There was a number of middle schools listed, and even a couple of local colleges, Millersville and I think Lancaster Bible College. Does it start at the middle school level? Is that where FCA starts to be involved?
I mean, yeah. Again, it depends on the school district, but we even have some elementary huddles.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And it's what we want to do.
Right, there they are.
Elementary school huddles. So, I mean, we really want to get them to the point where they're seeing the sport that they play as an opportunity to glorify God from a young age.
That's cool.
And yeah, we're seeing that, man, these kids that are in elementary huddles, then they go into their middle school huddle, they're a leader. Then they go to high school.
Yeah.
Then when they're done with high school, they become an intern in the summer with us. And then,
right.
And then hopefully they become staff. No, that isn't the exact route, but ideally that's, they're being plugged in with us from the time they're 5-6 years old till they're supporting us as a donor someday.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Was that kind of your path? Were you involved with FCA at the high school level?
Yeah. So I was involved with FCA at the high school level.
Okay.
I was homeschooled my entire life. So,
okay.
But I played baseball my entire life, and that was something I was blessed to do. Is be a homeschool student, allowed to play on the local school team.
That's cool.
The baseball team, and my junior year, we started FCA, and I started a huddle, and it just, I was involved with it from there. I led a devotion with my baseball team, some of the guys, and it was a good time to come together as peers. You're away from coaches, you're away from the drama, and you're just getting together. And that was on a team level. I was talking earlier about campus huddles and how you come together as the whole school. We also want students to lead devotionals in their locker rooms with their team specifically.
Yeah.
Because that is where impact happens when one kid says, "Hey, let's dive into something," and he brings 4 or 5 of his or her friends along.
That's cool. You mentioned coaches? Are coaches ever involved in? I mean, obviously you're trying to get to the coach level so they can recommend for their student athletes to be involved in FCA. But are they ever part of the huddles themselves, or you kind of want that to be more like the students without the coaches there?
It's usually more of we kind of want it to be a student thing, especially on the team level. Now, when we do the campus huddle, coaches can come, and they'll dive into the huddle that's even good for a student to see their coach be vulnerable, right?
Sure.
When a lot of times coaches are known to be very strict and straightforward, and it's like, well, they're as much of a human as you are, right? And for kids to see it's important. So, we do on the team level. Ideally, it's a peer-to-peer, but when we get into campus stuff, coaches are allowed to come. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I know you do camps. I mentioned my daughter plays volleyball, and over the summer we did a camp, an FCA camp at Kutztown, 4 or 5 days. First time kind of like doing an overnight camp, which was cool and a good experience, and learning experience for her. And she had a great time. really the whole thing, the food, the counselors, the program itself. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the camps, what's offered, when they're offered, where they're offered, how
Yep.
people can attend and get involved.
Yeah. So, and that kind of helps dissolve a myth of an FCA staff person that once the school year ends, we're done because
Oh,
we're a
okay.
school ministry, right?
Right,
No,
right.
summer
Yeah,
is
summer's off.
no. Summer is as much go as this time of year. In fact, probably more. But
Right.
yeah, we run a bunch of different camps around here. We run 3 power camps, and what those are, and that's for kids ages 8 to 12, and that's they come in. It's basically an introductory level camp. It's a Christian camp with sports. It's not a sports camp, right? So
Okay.
they come in, they have a little worship, some teaching, they do an hour practice, they come in for lunch, go back to practice, and then the day's over, right? So we're really and what we do is we get our high school student leaders to come be the counselors for that.
That's cool.
And man, you see some cool stories of that, of just this high school guy's got an elementary school kid, and he's ministering to him, and then in the fall this kid goes and watches him play football. At the end of the game, he comes over and
That's cool.
he knows him by name and by face and recognition, and it's just cool to see that a kid's face light up when a varsity
Right.
football player recognizes them. That's pretty cool. But yeah, as far as where they happen and when, we have a power camp again for ages 8 to 12, June 10th to the 13th. This is at Westminster Presbyterian Church in Lancaster.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then we have June, let's see here, I want to make sure my dates are right. June 17th to the 20th at Petra Church in New Holland. And then July 8th to the 11th at Mannheim BIC, Brethren in Christ in Mannheim.
Yep.
So kind of 3 different areas in the county. And yeah, we've seen some pretty cool stories come out of that. I served as an intern when I was younger, and now I'm on staff and get to see that impact and actually live it out. And yeah, then we do the Kutztown camp. It's a pretty big one. It was,
Yep.
I think last year we had 600 kids there, something like that.
So is it just a one week camp, or for it was all the sports, right? I remember like walking in and there were literally like hundreds of people, and it was like there's a volleyball table here and a baseball table and golf and I think even bowling. I mean, I just saw like a ton of signs, and so I'm assuming you were there.
Yes, I was. So I want to specify something on the power camps really quick.
Okay, yeah.
Just you said something, it piqued in my head. It is a day camp, so it's those days. It's not overnight for the 8 to 12-year-olds. So I just wanted to clarify that you're not sending your 8-year-old away for 4 days.
Although a lot of parents might want to send their 8-year-old for a little bit of a break, but probably not an overnight camp for that age.
No, but you're right. It is an overnight camp for a high school camp, and man, just the stories that come out of that camp are incredible and it's for the Mid-Atlantic region. So I mean, it's 5 or 6 states, kids from everywhere, inner city Philly, inner city Jersey, different places, and they're being bussed in. They're being told it's just a camp, and then they get chapel in the evening. What do you know? And it's a cool opportunity for us to meet kids where they're at. They're coming to our event, but we're meeting them where they're at in their sporting environment. And yeah, it's an overnight camp. I think it's 5 days. Yeah. And I'm on the program team for that. So in the evenings when we run chapel, I don't know if your daughter mentioned anything about the set falling over during one of the chapels, but
I'll ask her today. That's funny. No, I don't recall that, but I'll ask her.
It was my job to help clean that up. So yeah, but it's a great time, and I mean, like I said, I think between coaches and athletes and FCA staff and volunteers, there was probably 1,000 people at the campus. help making this thing run and impacting lives. And man, kids have some cool stories, and life change happens at the camp.
Now, I wanted to ask the counselors that are there. Like, were you a counselor as well?
Okay, no. So my primary role in that camp was to run the evening chapel, not run, but to help run the evening chapel.
Yep.
But then for our high school camp, we get college age students to come and be.
That's what it seemed like. Okay. Yep. And yeah, so they're doing some of the ministry and then also the specific sport training, like
Correct.
volleyball or baseball or whatever. Okay. Yep. That's cool. Mostly Kutztown students, or just could be anywhere?
No, that I want to say, I don't know, and this could be bad. I don't know, but I don't know if there was one Kutztown student at that.
Okay. Yeah, so I got you.
We got kids from Philadelphia, Virginia, Jersey, cool. Coming to Kutztown University, and just they are getting coached by good coaches, because we want it to be a camp that kids want to go to. They're going to see a coach's name and say, I want to go and get trained by this person. But then that coach is going to interject some Christ-centered coaching into his practice. And it's going to start to create new waves in the mind of these kids, and just how can they play their sport for the glory of God. And that's our goal, really. Yeah.
That's well said. The one story I did get from the camp was about the cow or the bull.
Oh man,
that was it was like a big. I was like Berks County, big news, right? This cow, this bull is like running wild all over the town of Kutztown, the metropolitan area of Kutztown, and it was like running through the campus. And I think I guess I don't know if it delayed anything that you did camp wise, but I think it was like a multi-day thing, and that was her big story. From
I want to say it is safe to send your kid to camp. It is not dangerous. It is, but this year we did have a local farmer. One of his bulls got out, and he was running around for sure. Yeah, that was quite the story. Oh,
that was not in your list of things that could like potentially happen. Like I'm sure putting this thing together, you're thinking like, well, we have to make sure we plan for this and that, and like, cow, bull running around is not one of the
last thing on the list. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, so it wasn't the list. It was just
no. No, but I mean, it was a week full of just interesting things. I mean, we had the whole cow issue. Yep. We had tornado warnings, and
that's right.
And practices canceled, so they had to just stay inside. It's like, nothing is going according to plan. But really what we found was that opened some really cool avenues for the college athletes and the coaches to pour into these high school kids. And
that's great.
Some cool stories came out of that. It's just a cool picture of what God can do, and the plans he has, and how sometimes we're not on the same page.
Yep, 100%. So the camp is always at Kutztown, is always in June, did you say?
Yeah, so I don't exactly have the Kutztown dates, but we do have a camp at Kutztown every summer for high school age kids. And go for it.
If somebody wanted to send their child there, it's high school age kids, so going into high school, like going into ninth grade, and I'm guessing up through being a graduate.
Correct.
And where can they get more information?
Yeah, so we have FCA Camp's website. It's different than our Lancaster website.
Okay.
But you can go onto there and you can search, any camp in the world, really. But if you go in there and punch in the search bar, you go to fcacamps.org, and then there should be a drop down of camps, and then camp types. Yeah, I see it on the screen now. So if you click find a camp and type in Kutztown camp, it should come up.
Okay, cool. And I think we found out about it through some of my daughter's friends who were on the club volleyball team. So they were familiar with the camp. I don't know if they had done it before or not, but they knew about it, and that's how we got signed up. So I can fully recommend being involved if you've got a high school student who's involved in sports. I highly recommend having your son or daughter attend one of these camps. It was a great experience for my daughter.
Awesome.
Now, actually, that's another question. Do you have to be a student athlete to be part of this camp? Like, let's say you play baseball, but you're not on the baseball team for your school. Like, could you still attend this camp?
Of course. Yeah. And ideally you have some knowledge of the sport to come to the camp.
Right.
Because like I said, the high school camp is a sports camp. Like we have really good coaches come in that know what they're doing, and they're going to run a camp. And then, there's going to be a spiritual aspect woven throughout. But then for our younger camps, the power camps, it is more of a faith-based camp. You don't have to have as great of knowledge of the sport. Matter of fact, you don't have to know how to swing a bat to come play baseball.
Right.
It's more of a introductory level camp for our younger ones, but the high school one is built for people in the sport. But
it makes sense.
You don't have to be on your local team. No, you do not.
And if somebody wanted to enroll their child in one of the, did you call it junior camps? What was the name there?
Power camps.
Power camps.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Power camps. That's on the Lancaster FCA website.
Correct.
Right. And what is that again?
You're asking when?
Oh, I'm sorry. What is the website? Is lancasterfca.org. Or org. That's what I thought. Yep.
Org.
That's cool. And and are those that's the extent of the camps you do? Those 3 power camps, and then the regional camp.
And then we usually have a wrestling camp, so it's sports specific.
Okay.
That's for the Mid-Atlantic region too. Don't have the dates on that yet, but that's something we usually run. And then there's a lacrosse camp that's held at Lancaster Bible College, and that's very similar to our. As a matter of fact, it used to be part of the Kutztown camp, and then it got so big that it had to become its own camp. So there's that. There's the Mid-Atlantic College camp. College-age students go there. They get poured into, and and that's where all our interns go. They get poured into before they start their internship, and it's a cool time.
There it is. I see the dates for the Kutztown camp were just up there.
Yeah, you got it.
June 24th or something like that, 23rd to 27th. That's cool. That's great. So maybe kind of to wrap up our time here, this has been great information and eye-opening. I knew of FCA and obviously the camp my daughter went to, but I really didn't have a grasp of the totality of what you do within the schools, and the amount of schools that you impact is pretty astounding there. Can you maybe share a story of like a student athlete that has been really positively impacted by being part of the FCA programming?
Yeah, and for sure. And that's what's cool is the story. I shouldn't tell you who it's about.
No, you don't have to share the name or anything. Yeah, just curious.
I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you my story a little bit because
perfect.
Because just how it impacted my life as an athlete. My dad passed away at a young age, and so going into high school into a baseball team as a homeschooler was just like the intimidating stuff. I had some friends that I've been getting to know, but what really was cool was just the way FCA kind of brought me in like I was just any other kid, right?
That's awesome.
I'm not the homeschooled kid. I'm Kyle Martin. And just the way that they walked through life with me in high school and allowed me to kind of explore my spiritual gifts and my leadership gifts and get those on the table, let me use them, and then ultimately lead a devotional with my team, impact lives that I otherwise, as a homeschooled kid, realistically, I probably wouldn't have done. Uh, but I was just encouraged by the staff. I'm going to give her the name, Diana Roth. She's one of my coworkers now, but it started as she was the staff person doing what I'm doing now, impacted me, and now I'm here, I'm doing it, and who knows, maybe someday I'll have one of those stories too of of a kid who comes on staff after being impacted by FCA. But yeah, it's had a great impact on my life. I'm so appreciative of the leadership of FCA at the higher level, and just the importance that they put on personal growth and really taking the time to get to know yourself and then minister out of that, right? Minister out of the overflow. It's part of our new theme. You saw it on the website.
Yeah.
We want to take people from being overwhelmed to serving out of the overflow of their heart.
That's, awesome testimony. That's so cool. Thanks for sharing that. It really wraps up this conversation very nicely, and just to see how you were impacted, and then you go on to impact hundreds and hundreds of other student athletes in the same way. That's what it's all about. That's super, super cool. So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Kyle, are you ready for our connection cocktail? Just, a few questions.
It's up there on the screen. I guess I have to be ready for it.
there are no drinks.
Yeah.
So, we know you play baseball, but do you have any other hidden talents?
Oh, well, I'm a big hunter. I don't know if you can call that a talent. Depends
Sure.
on if you get something or not, I suppose.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a talent. It's a hobby of mine.
Right.
I love being in the outdoors, hunting and fishing.
That's
and
cool.
stuff. And, I love, aside from it being what I do, I love sports, watching and playing. So, yeah.
That's cool. So, all right. So we often talk on the show. Jeff isn't here to talk about his Eagles.
Oh boy.
We won't say what's going on here. Do you have a favorite professional sports team? And if it's the Eagles, I'm terribly sorry.
Well, I'm a Philly fan. I'll say that.
Okay. All right.
But
Go
I guess
Sixers.
you could say my favorite at the moment, given the current state of the Eagles, probably the Phillies. Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
All right.
And yeah, I'm a big baseball guy. I've always been.
Yep.
I love the Phillies. I think playoff baseball is more fun than playoff football. It's just my opinion.
Oh, no question. No question. I went to game 2 of the NLCS, and that was just amazing. This past year. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it was a 10-0 game against the Diamondbacks, and of course, everything coming out of that game was like,
that was the peak of the
sweep them
season.
Yeah, that was the
it was downhill from there.
Stadium was electric. Everything. It was a phenomenal fan experience.
Yeah.
But it just totally cratered after that. It was just like,
oh man.
But you know what? It's hard to repeat as National League champions. It's just hard. And hey, they've got a lot of potential for going forward. So
yeah, I got to go to last year or 2 years ago, I guess. I went to the NLDS game where they clinched against the Braves.
Oh yeah.
And
nobody expected that.
No, and just like you said, the stadium is electric.
Yep.
You're getting decimal warnings on your phone, type of deal. Like you shouldn't be in that loud of an environment for too long, And I want to say, after the final pitch was thrown, no one left the stadium for like 2 hours. They were just.
I can imagine.
It was afternoon game, so no one was in a hurry to get home. It was awesome. Yeah.
Well, hopefully there's more moments like that in 2024.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So final question. This is a tough one. Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh yeah.
Hard hitting questions.
That's a tough one. I'm going to have to think long and hard about that. But I'm going to go with coffee ice cream.
Okay. Just like straight up, like a coffee flavor.
It's got to be Lap Valley coffee ice cream. I don't know if you've ever been to Lap Valley Farms, but
no, I've not. Where are they?
it's a small farm in East Earl. They
Okay.
basically
Lap Valley.
it is literally just a farm. You go up to a drive-through stand, and you can get some ice cream or some milk and some homemade waffle cones. Yeah, put it in your to-do list.
See, we do this show, as our way to give back to the community, highlight some great people and some great organizations. But that recommendation, that's really, if you dig down, that's what the show's about.
Yeah.
Getting these little places. Oh, here we go. Steve's commenting. Lap Valley ice cream is a must for Jeff and Ben. Maybe we could do a remote, a Lancaster Connects remote. We go through the you said drive through, get your coffee, ice cream, and see if you know what you're talking about in terms of ice cream.
Well, yeah, if you ever want to do that, you let me know. I'll meet you at Lap Valley for some ice cream.
Gotcha. That sounds great. Well, Kyle, this has been fantastic talking to you and learning about the ministry of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, FCA for short. For those who want more information, go to lancasterfca.org. Get information on the power camps, on the regional camps, and all of the local campus-specific or school-specific huddles and the ways you can get involved there. Kyle, this has been great. Thanks for coming on the show, and thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. This has been great. You guys run a great program here.
Thanks. And thanks for spreading the word. We saw that you shared it earlier. We appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Take care.
Thank you, Ben. Bye.
Yep. Well, that was great talking with Kyle. Hundreds of kids, children and older, through high school and beyond, and college as well. They're student athletes as well, are impacted and benefited by the work of Kyle and FCA as a whole. So it's really cool to know that they exist here in Lancaster for almost 10 years, 8 or 9 years or so. And it's cool, having kids myself, to know that there are resources like FCA that kids can be involved with. And like I said, my daughter had an experience last year with the FCA camp, and really had a pretty impactful time there. So thank you, Kyle, and thank you, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Just another mention about our sponsor for January, Universal Athletic Club. Watch the episode last week. That's probably the best thing I could say. We had probably a 35 minute conversation with Troy from Universal Athletic Club. You can see that lancasterconnects.com/episodes right at the top of the page. You'll see that there. Universal, fantastic, all kinds of services for fitness classes, personal trainers. There's my personal trainer, Sean, right there. I'm in a small group that he runs in the mornings. And also check out the Renewal Center. A lot of the episode last week we spent talking about the Renewal Center and some of the body renewal aspects and modalities and experiences in the Renewal Center. And our contest, lancasterconnects.com/contest, is all about the Renewal Center. You can get 6 free sessions to the Renewal Center. Great chance to win at the moment. Only 4 entries, but there's plenty of time left. We've had some other contests that the first week just kind of didn't get going yet, and boom, they take off the second and third week. So, but only 4 right now. You got a great chance to win. It's a value of $240, which is pretty cool. You can win some experiences there at the Renewal Center. Easy to enter, name, email, and once you do that, you'll have easy ways to enter. Liking on Facebook, subscribing on YouTube, all of that. I've got a testimonial that I'm going to share. Let me pull it up here. This came in right around Christmas. I thought this was interesting, and I'll say this is a testimonial not for Lancaster Connects. It's for Gardner's Mattress and More. Right here. Gardner's Mattress and More is the business that Jeff and I co-own. We've owned it for the last 13 years. We're in our 33rd year of operation. And ironically, the founder of Gardeners, Jim Gardner. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Jim, if you're watching. Happy birthday. But yeah, we started in 1990, and here we are all these years later, helping people wake up happy every morning. It's not something that's just on our wall over there. It's something we really believe in. And we strive to get testimonials from our customers, like this one from Mel. He says, I am a relatively old retired male. Shopping for anything is not a very pleasurable experience for me. And I think you don't need to be a relatively old retired male to have that thought process to shopping. Sometimes it's a challenging experience, no matter what you're shopping for. Anyway, I consider the purchase of a high quality bed to be a significant undertaking. How do you get started? Ton of stores, ton of products, lots of information, lots of misinformation online. So it's a significant undertaking. The sales associate that I dealt with made my buying experience a pleasure. He was very low key, knowledgeable, and cooperative. He listened to all my sleeping concerns intently and was able to address all my concerns thoroughly. Thank you for your customer service. So Mel, thank you for your business. Thank you for your kind words on the Google machine. We strive to give that level of service to anyone, whether you're college student looking for your bed at college, to newlyweds, to retired old men. We will help everybody with the same amount of energy and excitement and enthusiasm and care as we can. So again, our whole goal is to help you wake up happy, and we will do that. We're coming up, 472 reviews, 5-star reviews. It was just not too long ago that we were at 400. So maybe in early 2024 here, we'll get to 500. It sounds like a fun number to get to. But thank you to everybody who's left a review for us. We're honored by that, and it's really the support of our customers is what allows us, Jeff and I, to do this show, to try to get back to our community. There's obviously cost involved for us to put this show together. That's why Gardeners is a sponsor and why we talk a little bit about Gardeners. And of course, we have Universal Athletic Club as a sponsor as well. But our whole goal is to shine light on the community and the great people in the community doing amazing things, like today's guest, Kyle Martin with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So, thank you to Kyle for being on the show. Thank you to everybody watching, Steve and Nathan. When I see your comments coming in there, we appreciate your support. And if you're watching and you didn't comment, maybe you can comment on episode 127 next week. Got another great local guest next week. And but I think that wraps up today's show. Again, thanks for watching. And till the next connection, we'll see you next time.